The average amount of time a human is able to stay productive is 2 hours 53 minutes. You'll probably watch one of these productivity videos and you'll probably follow along for a month or 2 months at best, and you'll go back to living a normal life. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to stay productive consistently, not for a day, not for a two, not for a month, not for 2 months, for the rest of your life. So let's get right into it. Now, first things first, productivity is different for different people. Now, if you're a 50-year-old, your productive day is probably not going to be the same as my productive day. And at the same time, I know I've created a video previously on productivity, but productivity keeps evolving. I am trying to perfect the productive schedule for me right now. So that's why this video is not going to be the same as my previous productivity video. I'm going to be talking more about what is working right now. Again, I keep evolving, I keep experimenting, trying different things, what gets the best outcome and what gets me to stay productive the most. To make things easy for you guys to understand, I have divided productivity into two segments. That is physical work, which is stuff like doing chores or moving things around, basically things that do not require your mind. And the next is mental work. That is just stuff that requires you to think, which is creativity. It could be learning, it could be problem solving, it could be asking questions. All of these stuff are taxing on the mind. Now, stuff that's related to mental work is finite. You cannot do it constantly for like the entire day and stay productive. Like I said, only 2 hours 53 minutes. So mental stuff requires a little bit more breaks, requires a little bit more rest. But physical work, you can probably do it. I have done it for honestly a very long time. When I used to play football, I could train probably 10 times a day and it wouldn't do as much damage as what it does right now when it comes to mental work. But at the same time, in sports is different because in some cases you're using your brain and stuff. That's why they started to prioritize rest and recovery so much in sports right now too. Anyways, and another thing that I'm going to be doing to make things easier for you guys is I'm going to be explaining my productive day. Now, this is not to show off or flex or anything. It just makes more sense when I put things from my perspective to you from my own story and my own point of view. Because I don't want to just preach and tell you to do this stuff. It doesn't make any sense. Am I actually doing it? Yes. What am I doing? What is working? What am I experimenting with? All this different stuff. That being said, let's get right into the video, guys. Now, to start things off, I've got the sleep routine. So, honestly, your before sleep routine is much more important than your morning routine. I've come to realize that with exploring and experimenting. Now, for the basic sleep duration, I have tried 4 hours. Last week I experimented with 4 hours. I've tried 8 hours, which is too much for me. I feel very lethargic. 6 hours is working really well, and I'm able to stay productive, I'm able to stay alert, I'm able to recover information, all of that different stuff. But again, this depends for you. If 6 hours is too less, then you do you. If you can function with 2 hours, then I respect you and you are lucky, because for me 6 hours is much needed. And before sleep, what do? I don't use my phone for about an hour before sleep. At least, ideally 2 hours is better, but I don't use it for an hour. I message whoever I have to before. I say good night, love you, bye bye, whatever. And warm lights. So no white light. Your tube lights or bulbs that are white in color, try to stay as far away from those as possible. Try to be in as dim lit of a space as possible, because your quality of sleep is very important. Now, 6 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. If you have 6 hours of deep sleep, REM cycle sleep, you're sorted. So yeah, phone and lights. Now in the morning, what do? I have a separate video on my morning routine completely. I'll have it show up over here. Do go and check it out. But I get up at 4 o'clock. Now this is something that I want to be able to tweak in the future, but I can't right now. I get up at 4 o'clock and I have 1 hour of zone 1 high productivity work. Now what do I mean by zone 1? So I have divided my day into 3 zones of productivity. Zone 1 is involving tasks that are very mentally demanding and require me to get into flow state and in the zone basically. Very high productivity demanding tasks, like I'm working on a business idea right now, so I usually categorize that in that zone, and I'm learning how to code at the same time, so that requires a lot of mental strength too and a lot of mental energy, so that goes in that zone too. And then probably in my second zone, I have content creation, YouTube, learning video editing, all of these different skills. And my third zone is just consumption of content from different people who are speaking about business, watching podcasts, all of this different stuff. So first thing in the morning, 1 hour zone 1 work, and then I go to the gym. Now this is the thing that I want to change. I want to be able to put my gym schedule later into the day, like probably in the evening or in the afternoon preferably. But because I have to go to college on some days, I just put it in the morning and I get done with it. And after I come back from the gym, what do? I freshen up, I probably drink a coffee, and I get into my zone, which is complete, like I crush whatever I have to do. So this is from around 7:38 till around 10:30. I do zone 1 work again. I stick to whatever I'm doing, fully focused. I've got music in. I've got no distractions. So I tell my mom, in fact, today morning itself, I got into a fit with my mom where I was like, why do you keep, like, you're ruining my flow state? Like, just let me be. So that's one thing that helps, putting in music, no distractions, no phone around. Look, all of the states that I talk about, if you're keeping your phone around, then you're honestly like minusing your productivity. I don't know how people recommend productivity apps and all that different stuff. Your phone, not because of the phone itself, but because of social media, because of all these different platforms that are constantly feeding your dopamine and act as a huge distraction, keeping it anywhere around you while doing anything productive is a task. Trust me, one day just keep your phone in another room or somewhere very far away from whatever productive work you're doing, and watch how productive you're able to become after that. So yeah, basically high priority tasks go in this zone. Then we go into zone 2. Now usually in the beginning of zone 2 I have breakfast, and after breakfast I feel a little bit lethargic, right? It happens to me. I didn't notice it before, but like I said, with exploring and experimenting, I figured this out. So usually in the beginning of zone 2, what I do is I socialize, I interact with my mom, or I just go stand in my balcony and look at people walking. But yeah, anyways, just stuff that doesn't require me to exert a lot of mental energy because I feel drowsy, like I said. But what I do then after that is I start doing a little bit of physical tasks, like some chores or some sort of small tiny tasks like that. What this does is it prepares me to get in the zone again. It's sort of like building up to it. You don't just want to get into it, and when you're drowsy, you're not going to be able to stay productive. So I do some physical tasks like clean my sheets, washing my clothes, or something of that sort. And then after that, sometimes I also take a power nap. So if I don't have any chores and I'm not able to get into productivity immediately, I'll take a power nap for 16 minutes exactly, not a second longer, not a minute less. 16 minutes, and 16 minutes gets me locked and loaded to get back into the productive zone. And again, this is zone 1 itself, so I get into solid productivity all the way from 10:30 till around 2:33. I try to push my lunch as further into the day as possible. Delaying meals, I've realized, is honestly a productivity hack. Try it for yourself, it really works for me. Now another thing that I do in zone 2, which I did in zone 1 also, is give time to myself. Like, take a minute for yourself. No phone, nothing, no music even, and just sit with yourself, sit with your thoughts. Solitude is very important. If you look at any of the geniuses, most of them were quite often in solitude. So just sit with your thoughts. Don't even have to like focus on your breathing or do any meditation stuff. Just sit, let the thoughts come, think, just be at peace, be at ease, because there's so much noise going on outside. You need to take a second if you want to stay productive long term. Okay, now at the end of zone 2, I have lunch, and again, that makes me lethargic a little bit. So I usually go for a walk with Juno, which is very relaxing, very calming, just a very peaceful walk. And I talk to some kids in the apartment, socialize a little bit, maybe not often, but at least with my mum, or just roam around, chill, take it easy, and self reflect, and just be with myself. Now, after I'm done with all of that, I again get into my productivity zone, which is zone 3. Now this is again a little less demanding stuff. I try to keep it as quick and easy as possible. So it might be like a quick trim on a video, or just learning some different skill, very basic stuff. Something that I've been doing recently is consuming Naval Ravikant content during this time. If you're somebody that wants to learn about life, wants to learn about how to make money, business, and just be a happy person in general, then seriously consider consuming Naval Ravikant content. I'll have his YouTube channel show up. Very blissful stuff, very feel good stuff, and he's found the perfect balance between being successful and keeping yourself happy. So yeah, that's something that I do during this hour: consuming different content, watching podcasts, learning, understanding stuff, just easy stuff. Because then I start going into my night schedule, which is no phone and food, dinner, walk Juno, sleep, and then it's the same thing again the next day. So yeah guys, that's it for this video. Just to recap on things in case that is too vague or that is too random of information. You're going to have to divide your productivity into physical and mental labor. And then you're going to have to further divide mental labor into 3 categories, which is your high priority zone, and then your medium priority zone, and your low priority zone. Your high priority zone consists of stuff that you need to work on with your complete mental strength. Second zone is probably a little bit lesser, and third zone is probably a lot of physical work and just little mental activity. And make sure to give yourself adequate rest, give yourself time with yourself in solitude. You don't have to sleep, you don't have to meditate, just sit with yourself, sit with your thoughts. And the next thing is no distractions. Try to get as many people as away from you, nobody disturbs you. You just have probably your music at max in your ears, and there's no outside sound, there's no phone, nothing that causes any distraction to you. And delaying food. This is something that I'm not a professional with. I do not suggest trying this if you have medical issues. You can experiment with it. I'm no health practitioner, but do give it a try if you feel like it. It works for me, and I hope it works for you too. That's it for this video guys. If you enjoyed it, then do like, share and subscribe. I have more such content coming up ahead. I'm still figuring out whether I have to do another consistency video in this series or if I've covered it all. If I haven't, then I will definitely drop another consistency video. Do let me know in the comments how you're enjoying these videos or how these videos are providing value for you. It inspires me and motivates me to do more. And I hope to see you again in the next video. Thank you for making it this far, and kudos.